Join Daryl McCance and Yvette Walker each Tuesday at 4 p.m. on ABC News Radio, KMET, and Internet KMET TV for the Southern California Business Report. The show highlights successful businesses and individuals behind them. Daryl and Yvette interview the incredible people managing these enterprises that range from awe-inspiring sole proprietors to world-renowned organizations. The Southern California Business Report, Tuesdays at 4 p.m. on KMET AM, FM, and Internet KMET TV.
Welcome to KMET 1490 AM ABC News Radio and the Southern California Business Report, a show dedicated to highlighting successful Southern California businesses and the people behind them, with Daryl McCance and Yvette Walker. And now, here's Daryl and Yvette.
Thank you for joining the Southern California Business Report on ABC News and Talks, KMET 1490 AM, 98.1 FM, and KMET TV with Yvette Walker and myself, Daryl McCance. We are live blasting our signal from the center of Southern California, the beautiful Inland Empire, Orange County, the greater Los Angeles to our west, the Desert Empire to our east, Temecula Valley, Riverside, all the way to San Diego to our south, our beautiful mountain communities, the upper desert, all the way to State Line to our north. Get us crystal clear live worldwide by going to Google Play or Apple App Store and downloading the free KMET smartphone app today. We focus each week on successful businesses in Southern California and the people behind them, serving a local population of nearly 25 million, from awe-inspiring sole proprietorships to world-renowned organizations in all sectors of the economy. Today's show focuses on the business and secrets of Southern California's, and this is complicated. We got career development. We've got some specialized training. And as a bonus, it affects sports, which is going to make our general manager very happy, since in addition to our news and talk format, we also enjoy broadcasting live at no cost the Lakers, the Clippers, the Rams, and the Angels. So before we begin today, a special thank you to our team, Mitch, Bill, and Sean at the station, our amazing advisory group from UCI Irvine, Bill Morris, School of Business, Jay Kaplan, catch his show every Friday at 3 p.m., Camilla Rubio, Diana Cavallo, and James Carvin. Special thanks to last week's guest, Mr. Adam Salgado, Chief Marketing Officer, Cardenas Market, also President of Cardenas Foundation. If you didn't catch that show, download it, get it on demand. Yvette will be talking about all the ways to do that here shortly. As customary, Yvette Walker will introduce this week's special guest. Yvette, the microphone is all yours.
Thank you so much, Daryl. It is so much of a privilege for me to introduce somebody that I have known for quite a while and worked with personally, and just to have the opportunity to talk about his story of where he has been, where he is going, and what he's doing today is just going to be incredible. So let me start by introducing you to Justin Kemp. Justin is president and co-founder of Accelerated Sports Career Academy, where he oversees the day-to-day operations for the organization, helping individuals passionate about a career in sports realize their dreams. He most recently served as president of the Agua Caliente Clippers of Ontario in the NBA G League, where he managed the business operations for the LA Clippers affiliate. A 25-year sports business professional, Justin began his career in corporate sales with the NHL's Arizona Coyotes and later with the Anaheim Ducks. While serving as vice president of business development for the Long Beach Ice Dogs, he helped transition the minor league team into a new league and through an ownership change. In 2007, he was given the sole responsibility of starting the Ontario Reign in California, a new minor league affiliate of the Los Angeles Kings. Starting from scratch, he served as president for 7 years, being named the ECHL Executive of the Year in 2012. The Reign led the 28-team league in attendance in 5 of those first 7 years, while revenues increased year after year. His tenure culminated with the sale of the franchise in 2015 at a value 5 times greater than its original value. Justin holds a Bachelor of Science degree in sports management from the University of Massachusetts, Amherst, and he currently resides in Upland, California. Thank you so much for joining us today, Justin.
Thank you, Yvette. It's a pleasure to be here, and I really appreciate the opportunity to be here on this show.
Well, as we talked, we're going to have you go down memory lane before we jump into some of these amazing franchises and teams that you've been a part of in the past. We want to get a real good feel for how you got into them. By the way, for listeners, this is going to be really, really a neat broadcast because so many young people out there would just love to get into the business of sports, professional teams, farm teams, college, university teams. So anybody that you may know that would be interested in a career in the business side of sports, I think today's broadcast is going to be really, really insightful. And again, we're here with Justin Kemp, president, co-founder, Accelerated Sports Academy. And so take us down memory lane. For people that don't know you, how did you get into it from day one? Bring us all the way to current.
Sure thing, yeah. And I love taking these trips down memory lane because they're good memories. So I actually started in the sports industry back when I was 16. My first job was actually with a professional roller hockey team that used to play out of the old Great Western Forum in Inglewood. At that time, that's where the Kings and the Lakers were playing. And actually, the owner of our team was none other than current Lakers owner Jeannie Buss. So that was my actual first employer. I worked there for 2 different summers. Not a very glamorous job, to say the least. I was, kind of working in a locker room and doing laundry, after games and things of that nature. So it wasn't the cleanest of jobs, but certainly a lot of fun, especially for somebody in high school. I was a passionate hockey fan at the time, and I remember one day having to walk up to the main office there, and the main office was shared by the Lakers. And I remember walking into that office and seeing all of the pictures on the walls of the great Lakers like Magic and Kareem and all those greats. And I just remember thinking to myself, I don't know what goes on here, but I want to work in this environment one day. And as much fun as the locker room seemed to be and getting to be around the players, I said, I think the business side is probably more my cup of tea. And like a lot of kids, you have dreams of being a professional athlete in whatever sport you enjoy playing the most, but you get that harsh reality at some point that, hey, that's maybe not going to be the possibility for you. And the great thing is there's a whole other career within sports, that doesn't have anything to do with playing on the field or playing on the court. It has to do with what goes on behind the scenes in the front office. So I went through sort of the traditional route. Went to school to get a sport management degree from one of the top programs in the country at the time. Back when I did it, there weren't nearly as many opportunities or degrees in that field as there are now. Now you'll find somewhere, in the neighborhood of 300 or so sport management programs. Plus, you've got master's programs and doctorate programs and everything in between. So I did that, and then each summer, when I was going through school there, I was from LA, and ironically, I was one of only 3 people at the University of Massachusetts that was from Southern California at that time. 18,000 undergrads. The other 2 were on athletic scholarships. And people used to ask, they said, why in the world did you come all this way to go to school here when you come from sunny Southern California? And I said, well, I came for the sport management program. I'm a big hockey fan. And I guess, there was that part of me that just wanted to branch out a little bit and go off on my own, which was probably one of the best things I ever did. During the summer times, I would do internships, and my family was involved in sports at the time. And, I had the opportunity to go and work with a team that they were involved in. They were known as the Long Beach Ice Dogs. They played in an old league called the IHL, the International Hockey League. And each summer I would come back and do something different with that team. So the first summer I I worked as, just a sort of a general intern, where I was just kind of learning the ins and outs. And it was a lot of paper filing and anything you just kind of come to expect from, any typical internship. The second summer I went there and I worked in what would really sort of be the equivalent of what we refer to now as inside sales, which is kind of a starting off point for a lot of people in the sports industry. Sole job really was to make a lot of phone calls during the day and try to sell season tickets for the upcoming year. The third year, I had an opportunity to work in the corporate sales department. And it was at that point that I truly fell in love with that aspect of the business. I just loved the energy around it. I loved the creativity around it. And that was able, I think from those experiences that I had, those internships that I pursued, it gave me the opportunity to just generate a little bit more focus in terms of where I found my niche was going to be. So when it came time to do my official internship for college, I was fortunate enough to secure an internship with the Arizona Coyotes. They were known as the Phoenix Coyotes at the time, in the NHL. So I relocated to Phoenix and did that internship working in their corporate sales department. Was fortunate enough 6 months later to be hired on full time as a corporate account executive, where I filled that position for a little over 2 seasons. Always had a desire to come back home to Southern California, and there was an opportunity that opened up with the Anaheim Ducks. Ironically, I was a LA Kings fan my whole life, so working for 2 division rivals was something new for me. But working for the Ducks, and I was there for 1 season, working in their corporate sales department as an advertising sales manager. Absolutely loved the job, loved every aspect of it. Again, getting to use that creativity and building out partnerships and finding the needs of different companies and how they could advertise their brand at our games was just a really exciting time for me. We went to the Stanley Cup Finals, went to Game 7. Unfortunately, we didn't win it, but still had that experience, incredible experience to go through that, at a very young age. Unfortunately, the next year saw a lockout happen with the NHL. I decided to make my move before everybody else did. So I went back to the team that I had done the internships with, the Long Beach Ice Dogs, expecting that would be a short stint. Ended up spending the next 3 years there in a variety of roles. I went from corporate sales and then expanded out to additional roles as people left, and I had an opportunity to fill positions. I at one point took on the PR department, of which I had not any real experience. I took 1 class in college, but it was a great experience to really have an understanding, first person understanding of how that aspect of the business worked. From there, I served as a sort of a de facto ticket sales director when we lost our ticket sales director at one point, and then actually kind of served more as a VP of business operations. And as you mentioned there in the bio, assisted the team through an ownership transition as well, where I stayed on for about 6 months after that process too, just to kind of make sure things were smooth. And then that sort of led me to the opportunity, which was the opportunity of a lifetime, to start the Ontario Reign. Probably the thing I'm most proud of in my career, and proud of it because we were able to build it from literally nothing. We were opening up a brand new arena, which is now known as Toyota Arena here in the Inland Empire in Ontario. And the community, which I would not say was a hockey-driven community, just fell in love with the team. And, we worked really, really hard to bridge the connection to the community. We, of course, started the team at a time in 2008 when, the economy had just taken a nosedive, and the Inland Empire was, I think, the second hardest hit area in the United States. So we were up against a lot. But, what it taught me was we were an outlet for people. And people could come to our games and forget about their daily lives and their daily troubles for that 2.5, 3 hour period. And it became a community event where people, got to know the people sitting around them. And it's incredible to see even, so many years past that now today, to see that same kind of camaraderie still in place there. So really just made so many wonderful relationships and friends and professional colleagues, and in that role, and just enjoyed my time tremendously. When it came time to move on, when that team was eventually sold to the current owners, which is AEG and the LA Kings, that team has since moved up to AAA in the American Hockey League. I decided to start the business that I'm with right now, which is Accelerated Sports Career Academy. And the idea behind that was I wanted to do something to give back. I wanted to create something that was both a pipeline for the industry, but gave other people hungry for an opportunity in sports a more efficient way to do so. And really just a clear path to be able to realize their dreams. Took a brief hiatus when I went to run the Agua Caliente Clippers for about a year and a half. Much of that during the COVID shortened season last year. So that was another challenging experience, but very rewarding nonetheless. And recently came back here full time to direct my attention to a business that I just feel has a lot of need and is really up and coming, because there's a lot of people now, that are facing competition like never before. This is a naturally competitive industry, but now you're not just competing against people trying to break in for the first time, but you're also competing against people who have maybe been laid off and are trying to get back into the sports industry. And that's my story up to this point.
Yeah, that brings us right up current. And for those that just tuned in, we are here with Justin Kemp, the president and co-founder of Accelerated Sports Academy. And I think that listeners today are going to get a real kick out of this, because either they or somebody they know, I'm sure, love sports and would love to be in the business side of sports. You shared with Yvette Walker and myself that you've placed individuals with 200 different individuals as some major franchises, colleges, universities, farm teams, and your organization is thriving, and what a great opportunity. And it's a secret. Yvette and I are really glad that you enjoyed Arizona when you were there. But we have to say, now that you're in Southern California and you've been here for many years, you can go visit these places, but we need to keep you right here in Southern California.
I'm happy here. So
Yep. And as we said in the intro, we have one community, we call it Southern California, and we have little neighborhoods. We have LA County and Orange County and San Diego and Riverside and San Bernardino and all these different little areas. People wake up in one area and go to work in another area and visit a friend there somewhere else and say hello to family in another. So you got lots of room to expand around here, but we need you. And you're going to talk about now, we'll give everybody a little taste of, in fact, right now, let's just do it. Let's go right into your Accelerated Sports Academy. Let's give a little taste, kind of an overview, and we're going to dig in deep, but just a little overview of exactly what it does.
Yeah. So this is what we call our elevator pitch. So if you were getting on an elevator with me and there were 20 floors, and I have to be able to describe in 20 floors what the program is, this is what it is. I call it our three-pronged approach. So we look at three main criteria that are challenges for people to break in. One being the skill sets. So we arm them with the skill sets that are most sought after by teams. Number two, we help them establish and grow a network within our industry among hiring managers and decision makers. And number three, we help them land a job by helping them through the interview process and ultimately getting their dream of getting their foot in the door and starting their career in sports.
That's brilliant. And we're going to talk, like you said, we're going to go into depth on this, but one of the secrets, we're going to let a secret right out of the bag right now. And that is many people believe that they need to go and get an advanced degree. They need to do lots of different things before they can enter into this arena, the business side of sports. So why don't we give a little taste on that, and let's dispel a myth there. If you could run with that for a minute, because I thought that was just really eye-opening.
Yeah. So we typically describe ourselves as a supplement to an existing education. What we mean by that is we fully encourage everyone to go out and get a degree. Get a degree in anything. I don't care if you have a biology degree. I don't care if you have a philosophy degree. It doesn't disqualify you from pursuing a career in sports. Where we tend to encourage people to hold off is pursuing a degree right after their bachelor's degree, and seek a master's degree in sports business or sports administration or sports management. Reason being is most people typically find the entry-level jobs are going to be similar, irregardless of whether they get that higher education or not. Now, that's not to say that we don't support going and getting a higher degree. However, we find that it's typically more effective if you start off your career in the industry, start off in one of the entry-level roles, and identify exactly what you want that advanced degree for. Now, maybe you want to work as a athletic director at a college. Well, there's a perfect reason to go and get your master's degree or even a doctorate. But suppose you want to be the president of a minor league baseball team, general manager of a minor league baseball team. The need to get that is probably non-existent because you're going to get that experience, that work experience leading up to it. That higher education isn't necessarily going to make you better. What I always say, though, is if you're going to seek out higher education, figure out exactly what you want it for, and then get something a little broader in scope. You'll get a lot more bang for your money, and you're going to get a great education. And when you apply that education with a little bit of experience behind it, it's just a far more effective process. So that's typically what we try to guide people with as they try to navigate those waters early on.
Very good, very good. So can you please talk about what the perfect candidate would look like for accelerated sports academy? What does the perfect candidate look like? And can you talk a little bit about what they can expect as they enter the field when they get their foot in the door?
Yeah, great question. So ideal candidate is somebody that is just truly passionate about wanting to work in this industry. Most everybody that comes to us they've either played sports or they've watched sports most of their life. And it's a part of who they are. So we say, well, why not get paid to do what you do as a hobby anyway? So that's really sort of the first criteria. Next criteria is somebody that's willing to put the work in and do what it takes to get their start. As I said earlier, this is a very competitive industry. There's no shortage of people that want to get in, but there is a shortage of people that are truly going to be committed. And if you can put yourself in that lane, you've got a great opportunity. We just try to help people that say to themselves, I'm truly committed to this. I just need a little bit of direction. We provide them those directions and those tools to be successful. And 9 times out of 10, it works like a charm. In terms of what you can expect kind of initially going into a career like this, you can expect to be worked hard. The expectations are very high. But one of the great things about it and why we find that a lot of times people that have played sports, whether it's growing up in high school or even at a higher level, if they played at the collegiate level, typically do great in these situations because they have that natural competitive nature about them. And a lot of people start in a sales environment in sports. It's not to say everyone does, but the vast majority of people do. And what I think is sometimes not realized is what the environment is like. This is a competitive environment. This is people who they're selling experiences to people, and basically somebody is paying you to talk about sports all day long. That's a wonderful, wonderful first job for someone to have. What you are not is you are not the person that is calling people to bother them as they're sitting down to dinner. You are not a car salesman. And no offense to anyone out there who is selling used cars. That's a tough job, but it's not like that. It's about trying to find the right fit for people. And that's what makes it enjoyable. And that's what makes it fun. Because you're bringing people into experiences that they're going to remember for the rest of their lives. And you get to be there for it every single day. That's what makes it special.
And can you talk a little bit about just an overview of the different areas that Accelerated Sports Academy covers to prepare these candidates to get their foot in the door?
Yeah. So kind of going along with the three-pronged approach, as I mentioned, we have a series of 9 different modules that we equip people with that enroll in the program. Those 9 modules are completely self-paced. People watch those on their own time. As I mentioned at the beginning, there are no grades, there are no tests. So this is something that's designed for people who are busy. They're either going to school full-time, they're working full-time. That's exactly who this caters to. Some of the modules consist of the following. We've got one that dives into, we call it Resume Plus. And what that really means is we want to take your resume that you already have, and we want to tailor it specific to the jobs you're going to be going after in sports. So it speaks to those opportunities. We're going to take your LinkedIn profile. If you don't have one, we're going to help you create one. If you do have one, we're going to help you enhance it. So it's the most marketable piece that you have to put out there. That's going to be your number one networking tool initially. We go into an introduction into sports. So this is an introduction into what you can expect on the day-to-day life of working in a professional sports organization. What is the environment like? We go into a few different sales components. So we go into, selling to businesses. We go into selling to consumers. We talk about selling to groups. We talk about overcoming objections and those fears that people have. We talk about the culture of sports so that people that are looking for job opportunities can find the teams and organizations that do it best and what to look for. We dive into corporate sales, so you understand how partnerships, come about. We even do some instruction in CRM, so that people can understand how customer relationship management works. And again, the idea is just to give people an overview, so they also have a focus in terms of kind of what they want to do and know exactly what to expect going into it.
Very nice.
Well, we're going to be going to a break here momentarily, but I want to let the listeners know when we come back, we've got some secrets for you. Okay, we're going to talk about the cost of the program. It's a simple, straightforward, very, very small cost. When you talk about getting the training, building the resume, preparing for the interview, and then actually plugging these candidates into decision makers. And you're looking at success as these individuals secure that job. They get that foot in the door, and then they can start to have fun. They're in the business that they want to. They're combining their passion with their employment, and that's a dangerous combination. So we're going to be digging into that, and there's 9 modules. When we get back, we're going to just kind of peel the onion on those, so that our listeners have a little better idea on exactly what that looks like. And then there's another secret, and it's something that you would never expect that comes out of this program. And we will be talking about that momentarily. We'll be right back.
Take KMET 1490 AM with you everywhere you go by downloading our free smartphone apps found on the KMET website, KMET1490am.com. You can also go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store on your phone to download the free app. Now you can listen live or play any of your favorite programmers' podcasts using your smartphone. Go to KMET1490am.com and download your free phone app today.
For all you truck and RV enthusiasts, TruckWorks right here in Banning is your one-stop shop for the best diesel performance and overall truck and RV needs. Whether you're towing, racing, off-road, or just cruising around town, TruckWorks specializes in truck and RV service, maintenance, repair, and performance upgrades for every light and medium-duty truck manufacturer. Bring it down to Terry and the guys at TruckWorks. Call 951-922-4776 or visit their website at mydieseldown.com today.
Hello, listeners. This is Christopher from The Christopher Show. Hey, if you missed one of our shows here at KMET, don't worry about it. You can go to our webpage, and that's KMET1490am.com. Go to the homepage, click on the SoundCloud tab, and hear any show anytime you want.
Join Daryl McCance and Yvette Walker each Tuesday at 4 p.m. on ABC News Radio, KMET, and Internet KMET TV for the Southern California Business Report. The show highlights successful businesses and individuals behind them. Daryl and Yvette interview the incredible people managing these enterprises that range from awe-inspiring sole proprietors to world-renowned organizations. The Southern California Business Report, Tuesdays at 4 p.m. on KMET AM, FM, and Internet KMET TV.
Check us out online at KMET1490am.com.
Welcome back, and thank you for joining the Southern California Business Report with Yvette Walker and myself, Daryl McCance. We are here with Justin Kemp, president and co-founder of Accelerated Sports Academy. And I promised that we would be giving some secrets. We got secrets coming out of our ears today. I'm very excited to, and Yvette is as well, to have Mr. Justin Kemp with us today. And before we went to break, we were talking about the 9 modules. So not only are you bringing in individuals that love sports and want to, they want to just pursue this for employment, that way they're combining their passion with their employment, which makes them want to jump up out of bed in the morning and go to work and excited. And along with helping them build a resume from the immediate time they get involved with you to getting them the tools they need through these 9 modules. And then the final step is you are plugging them into decision makers in the field. So you are really going from A to Z, and we just don't see that a lot. We'll find people that specialize in one section or another. So the fact that you put this together is really exciting. It's very, very exciting. And let's just kind of peel that onion a little bit. Let's take the first module. Let's peel the onion a little bit, and let's kind of go through those 9 modules so we don't shortchange anybody. And then we're going to reveal some secrets.
Right. So I mean, the first module that we dive into, as I alluded to earlier, is called Resume Plus. And what that is really about is taking someone's resume and making it speak to the opportunities they're going after. It's also about following a specific format that hiring managers in sports like to see when they receive a resume. Sometimes people try to do a little too much with it. We don't need that. We don't need to know every single job you've ever held, but we want to look at the jobs that are going to be applicable to what you might be trying to interview for. That also includes really building and enhancing your LinkedIn profile, which is going to be the most important thing to beginning your networking. It's widely used in our industry and is a really effective tool when used properly to connecting with individuals and even beyond the job hunting aspect of it. There's, once you're in a role, if you're looking to hire somebody, it's a wonderful tool. If you're looking to do business with somebody, whether it's a new sponsor or a new client, it's a wonderful tool. So we really dive pretty deep into that. The second module, we go into an introduction to sports. And really what that is about just understanding what the ins and outs are going to be like about working in the industry. What is the professional, expectation for somebody coming into that environment? What is the day-to-day going to look like? Who are you going to be working alongside? How do you move up quicker in that role? The third one we dive into is landing the job. Now, this is probably the most important one for a lot of people because it dives deep into the interview process. There's a lot of different types of interviews somebody can put you through in sports. It might be a one-on-one interview, which most of us have all done, but it might be a Skype interview, which is more common right now. It might be a group interview where you might be in a room with 20 other people who are all interviewing for the same position as you. And there's different tactics to use for each of these interviews. So we go into that. We actually put people through mock interviews and interact with them to be able to identify areas where we can help them provide the best version of themselves. The next one, we take a dive, like I said, into the sales aspect of the industry because it's such an integral part of what sports and entertainment's about. So we start off with B2B, which is business to business. What are the tactics of reaching out to a business to sell them tickets? It's not necessarily calling somebody, but it doesn't matter if they're a fan of the sport or a fan of the team. It's about finding a need and going through a needs analysis with them. Same thing with the next module, which is B2C, which is just working with consumers. Those are the individuals. Then there's a whole other module about selling to groups. A lot of groups are trying to do fundraisers, or they're trying to do experiences. So you've got a whole other segment of the population there. Then we do a little bit of a dive into CRM, which is customer relationship management. We train on Salesforce, which is one of the more widely used CRMs out there. Then we go into a module titled partnerships, and that's just kind of a general overview as far as how working in corporate sponsorships works. What would it look like your first year on that job? How would you kind of go through the processes, and how does the creativity kind of flow into that? And then the last one is culture, because we want people looking for the right opportunities in sports. Remember, when you're going on an interview, it's not just about them interviewing you, you're also interviewing them. So it's important to find the right fit. And there's some organizations that do just a great job of this. And it's important to kind of know the things to look for so that you're finding the right fit for yourself and ultimately can thrive in that environment.
Absolutely.
That's a lot of bang for the buck, don't you think, Yvette?
Absolutely. And it really sounds like the business side mirrors the actual, sports part of it that they may be representing. Can you talk a little bit more about how the environment on the sports side mirrors the business and administration part of it as well?
Yeah, that's what makes our business really fun, actually, is sometimes people think, well, I don't know if working on the business side is going to be as much fun as working with the players, but you go through a lot of the same type of scenarios that they go on the court or on the field. The competitive atmosphere is in some ways just as fierce, if not fiercer. You have everyone has a role within the organization. So even if you're one of the entry-level roles, let's say you're an entry-level ticket sales representative, but you represent about 60% of the revenue coming in for that sports organization. Maybe not you individually, but your department does. And how you fill it, how you help to fill that in, you're responsible for bringing fans in there who create the experience that the players thrive off of. And that's why they call it home field or home court advantage, because it's a lot easier to play in front of your home fans than it is to go on the road and play in a hostile environment. Whether you're working in community relations and your role is to try to bridge the gap between the community and the organization, and generate money for the community. Whether you're working in marketing and trying to promote the organization, everybody has a specific role, just like on a team. And also, just like on a team, it's always cyclical. So every year you get to start off with a brand new season. So there's always a new day to wake up to, and I think that's especially refreshing. Because sometimes you have a bad year. we all have had them, right? So it's always nice to be able to say, okay, well, you know what? I get to turn the page now, and we get to start fresh. So that's definitely how the two, kind of mirror each other.
Well, you mentioned at the beginning that there's a lot of master's programs out there that people can get into, and I've been hearing in the last 5-10 years that a lot of the master's programs are recommending that after someone gets their bachelor's degree, to go out, get in the work world, trying to figure out a little bit, try to get a little better understanding of which direction, like you mentioned earlier, which area do they want to go. Mm-hmm. That way they don't waste money, waste time. And to me, after you get your bachelor's degree or right out of high school, either one, to just jump right into something fun so you can be around a bunch of professionals that have hired amazing people in, the HR department, the marketing department, the advertising department. And it's all focused on sports entertainment, which is just, more fun than, you can imagine, right? Mm-hmm. So you kind of get a good idea, because I feel bad for young people. We always ask them, hey, what do you want to do with the rest of your life? Mm-hmm. For crying out loud, that's, pretty heavy to put on a teenager or even somebody in their 20s, And this is such a great opportunity you've put together where someone can stop the film right after high school or stop the film right after getting their bachelor's degree. All those people out there with business degrees, they're trying to figure out, my goodness, what industry do I want to go into? Well, you know what? You love sports. You might want to get a hold of Accelerated Sports Academy. You got an A to Z solution Go get involved. And we promised the listeners before we went to break that we're going to go over this complicated cost process for this program. Just about the most uncomplicated thing I've ever seen. So why don't we just address that right now? Because I want to get into another secret that Yvette Walker and I are very excited about, because I think it's something that it's something you would never expect. It caught both Yvette and I totally off guard when you shared with us. So talk about the cost of the program, because it's very complicated. So go right ahead.
Oh, it's very complicated. Our program, it's $500. So just to some that sounds like a lot. To others, they're shocked because they say, well, that's so much less than I thought it was going to be. We really put a great effort to invest ourselves into each of our candidates that come here. So while a lot of it is self-paced, we put our reputations on the line when it comes to this. And what I always like to say, our program is designed to keep everybody honest. It is in our best interest that our candidates get placed with sports organizations and that they thrive and are successful in those sports organizations, because we want the sports organizations to continue to interview our candidates. We want them to continue to hire our candidates, and they're only going to do that if the predecessors that start the process are successful in what they're doing. So it is an invested process in terms of what we do, and we really pride ourselves on that. We've been able to help a lot of people who wouldn't maybe have otherwise been able to land an opportunity in the industry because of any number of things. Maybe it's their socioeconomic causes. Maybe it's where in the country they live. Maybe it's their age, or whatever it might be. We can overcome a lot of those things, and it's one of the things we're most proud of, just in being able to really provide for as many people as possible.
When we hear people talking about the cost of education, the cost of training, the cost of hiring a professional to help them on the job search, unbelievable. I mean, any of those three categories could be tens of thousands of dollars. And the fact that you guys have something that's very affordable, that I could see as a gift, especially, like I said, I'm just trying to put myself in the place of an 18-year-old, 22-year-old. I'm not sure, which direction I want to go. And we've just come out of a couple of complicated years. I got an idea. I think I'll go have some fun for a year or two, surround myself with a bunch of very talented people. And you just end up kind of finding your own little lane and go down. So the fact that you've created something that could get the credentials and get somebody on the payroll of some amazing organizations. Why don't we just take a quick little snippet and talk about some of the institutions that you've taken your graduates and placed them with. I think people will be very motivated to hear some of the names.
Yeah, I mean, we've placed in the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball, NHL, Major League Soccer, Minor League Baseball, Minor League Soccer, Minor League Hockey, the WNBA, the NBA G League.
How about college? How about college and universities?
Yep, colleges and universities, absolutely, all over the country. That's even, we've even had people, I've had somebody go into baseball analytics. I've had somebody go work for ESPN. It just depends. Sometimes people come to us and they have a transferable skill set from something else. And our job is to help them use that transferable skill set and apply it to the sports industry. And that's another key part of this as well. It's not just recent grads, but it's people that are looking to make a career transition. And we just try to make that process as easy for them as possible.
That is tremendous. And that goes into one of my next questions. And that is, can you talk a little bit about the long-term view of what someone that enters the sports career field and the way working in the sports field can positively impact their long-term career goals?
Yeah. We found that, believe it or not, people that leave the sports industry that have, been successful in their time there. And when I say leave the sports industry, I'm saying they might have only worked in their entry-level sales job to begin with. Maybe they didn't advance that past, 2 or 3 years there, but they went to another industry. And we found that having a sports job on your resume looks really, really good to employers. And the reason being is sports, they kind of put you through the ringer. I mean, it is a hard job. It's a really fun job, but it is a hard job. And that's why you have to be really passionate about what you do. You have to really love sports to want to do that. But if you love it and you find yourself talking about it every day, all the time, and you find yourself watching it all the time and reading about it all the time, chances are it's probably a career that you should at least entertain. Because why not have somebody pay you to spend the time you're spending anyway doing it? So yeah, that's always been a pretty big takeaway as well. Is people that leave the industry, they find that they're more employable by other employees or other employers, just based off their experience working in sports and some of the criteria that they tend to go through.
For those that just tuned in, we're with Justin Kemp, the president and co-founder of Accelerated Sports Academy. This group is tied in with sports entertainment, the business of sports entertainment, and taking people that want to get into this industry, getting them the knowledge they need, getting them the resume they need, and then connecting them with decision makers. And when you mentioned that the cost of the program is $500, I just about fell off my chair. What a great gift. As I said, so many people out there are trying to find something. And you just hit the nail on the head when you said, if you could just spend all day focusing on sports, for crying out loud, you might as well get paid for it. There are people that just love animals. There's people that love sports. There's people that love the outdoors, hiking and different things. For crying out loud, if you can get paid for what you love to do, and then the secret, and Yvette just hit it, and I want to just absolutely hit it again, which is many people that are in the business of sports entertainment are getting recruited. There are some big, beautiful companies out there, small, beautiful companies, medium-sized, beautiful companies, and they're recruiting people from these great organizations. And now you have something in common, because if you have company X and they love sports franchise Y, and they say, we want to recruit this person, bring them over, because not only can they be valuable to our company, whether it's a sole proprietorship or a world-class organization, we have something in common. People love to work with people that they have something in common. And I'm not going to put you on the spot, neither is Yvette, to find out who your favorite sports teams are, because we don't want to get you in trouble. Okay.
I'm sure they all are. I'm sure they're all your favorite.
And anyone that's hiring our candidates are my favorites. Yeah.
There you go. So since we're on the topic, can you share information about how those that have an interest in pursuing a career in sports can gather information and see if this is the career path that is right for them?
Yeah, the easiest thing to do is really to go to our website. It's a little bit long, but I'll spell it out. It's ascacademy.com. Go to that website. There's a place to click on for more information. What happens there is you put your basic information, your phone number, your email, your name, and any comments that you'd like to add. That comes directly to us. We reach out to you with a phone call. It's just that initial 15-minute call, which is just to learn a little bit about you, learn about why you're interested in going into sports, what you maybe want to do with the industry, and a little bit about your background. We give you, just a general overview as far as what we're about and answer any questions. There's no pressure to any of it. The whole process is designed to be seamless. It's designed to be easy and just informative. And it's about finding a right fit. Are we a right fit for you? Are you a right fit for us? And that's really all there is to it. So that's generally the best thing to do. The other nice thing on that website, you can read about the people who are involved. And I think if you're going to be investing your dollars into something, some form of education or career development, it's important to know who you're going to be working with. So we have our bios listed up there, so you have an understanding. It's like, we're not educators by trade. We're people who are either actively working in the industry or have worked in the industry our entire careers. And we're just trying to translate back to people that are interested in breaking in, the best practices and the expectations, and, how to be the best candidates out there, what we look for when we're hiring people.
Very nice. And that's ascacademy.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Yvette Walker will share with everybody here in a minute how to, get this back on demand. We have people that are, obviously pulling it up on their phones, their tablets, their computers. This interview can be watched in the future. And for anybody that knows anybody at any age, because there are seniors that are just loving the sports entertainment field. There's people right out of school that are loving it, and right in between. This is a great launching point where you can just get what you need, get those qualifications, and then, as Mr. Justin Kemp said, once you're in the industry, you can find out, okay, maybe I want to get a master's degree in this because this will open up doors. Maybe I want to get a PhD in the other thing, or maybe I want to work 3 times as hard and retire in half the time. That's up to you. Everybody, you can pick your own path. But the fact that we have right here in Southern California another secret, which is the Accelerated Sports Academy, that can really just open up the doors, just plug people that are passionate about sports with some amazing franchises. Real quick before we run out of time, talk about how Southern California compares to other parts of the nation with respect to opportunities, because nobody likes to get excited about something and then find out, dang it, there's no opportunities.
That's the worst.
You know what? You tricked me, for crying out loud. So talk to that for just a minute, if you don't mind.
Yeah, we're very fortunate to be in Southern California, because there's no place in the country, maybe in the world, that has a higher abundance of sports and opportunity here. If you think about it, we've got one, if not two, of every major league sports organization. We've got an abundance of minor league sports organizations. We've got colleges and universities, and we've got big events coming. We've got the Olympics coming. We've got the Super Bowl coming. There's new venues that are opening up. It's pretty spectacular when you think about what's right here in our backyard. And I think, Southern California, that's not just LA, that's Orange County. Even San Diego to some degree. There's not as much down there sports wise, but we're in a great part of the country. And we always encourage people to be open to opportunities everywhere. But if you're in Southern California, you're there's probably not a better spot to be to at least start your search.
Right. And you shared with Yvette and I yesterday, even though we are interested in people, the world's greatest people coming to Southern California, we don't lose anybody, but you also mentioned how these skills that you translate and train people can go nationwide. Now, with that, Yvette, we're getting down towards the end of the show. So if you want to just share with everybody how they can hear this interview with Justin Kemp, president and co-founder of Accelerated Sports Academy, and all the other great things, if you could just kind of wrap it up for us.
Yes, thank you so much, Daryl. And thank you so much for joining us today, Justin. So everybody, you can look for us on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Check us out on scbrtalk.com. And don't forget to download the free live streaming app on Google Play or the Apple App Store. Check out our YouTube channel and download our interview with Adam Salgado, who serves as Chief Marketing Officer for Cardenas Markets. In this role, he oversees the day-to-day operations of the company's marketing, communications, and customer service departments, in addition to advancing Cardenas Markets' e-commerce initiatives. Next week, we will have guest Dr. Christiane Querfeld, a dermatologist and dermatopathologist at City of Hope, a comprehensive cancer center in the San Gabriel Valley. Dr. Querfeld is one of the world's renowned experts in the diagnosis and management of cutaneous lymphomas. Her other areas of expertise includes dermatopathology with specialized knowledge in diagnosing melanoma, cutaneous lymphoma, as well as other skin cancers. She is director of City of Hope's Cutaneous Lymphoma Program at the Tony Stevenson Lymphoma Center. Don't miss it, friends. See you next week.
This has been the Southern California Business Report with Daryl McCance and Yvette Walker on KMET 1490 AM ABC News Radio, a show dedicated to highlighting successful Southern California businesses and the people behind them. Log on to the show's website and remember to visit the podcast page.